The first time I ever laid eyes on that little Mario sprite running across the screen was at my grandmother's house growing up. She had an NES and a Super Nintendo in her upstairs bedroom, and it didn't take long before my cousins and I took that entire room over for ourselves. To be honest, I'm not sure how many people have memories like this, but my grandmother was a master at Mario games. In fact, I don't think I ever saw her playing anything else. It was like Mario was her escape. When she thought we were all preoccupied watching a movie in the downstairs living room area, she could be found stomping on Goombas and defeating King Bowser, only to find she was one step behind. And the princess she had been seeking was always in another castle. She went through the gambit of Mario games too. She must have finished Super Mario Bros. 1 through 3 and Super Mario World multiple times throughout our childhood. In fact, the only time she would really stop was to check on things downstairs to make sure we weren't burning the house down or performing WWF wrestling moves on each other. Then it was right back to the land of Mario, Hammer Bros, Yoshi's, and more, until lunch rolled around. With the advent of a new Super Mario Bros. Movie just around the corner, it's as good a time as any to revisit the amazing Mario games we grew up on. Maybe I'm wrong in thinking this, but I feel as though you would be hard-pressed to find anyone who considers themselves even the most casual of gamer, ranging from the 1980s through the early to mid-2000s, who doesn't have fond memories of the Little Red Plumber and his wacky adventures throughout the Mushroom Kingdom. To think the sheer mania surrounding the Mario character today all started back in the arcade. It was his appearance in this classic Donkey Kong game that introduced the world to the plumber in red and blue for the first time. For me though, it really began with the original Mario Bros. On the Nintendo Entertainment System. While Mario Bros. 3 would eventually become my favorite of all the NES games, I can close my eyes and still see Mario running along that first level and hopping onto the flagpole, activating that memorable sound that signaled you had beaten the stage. I replayed that first stage in preparation for this video, and full disclosure, it never gets old, truly. Mario really set the stage in those days, and it set a high bar for all the other amazing platformers to come. Before Mario made the leap and triple jumped his way into 3D, he got a huge glow up in the critically acclaimed and highly lauded sequel to the NES series, aptly named Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo. In this game, Mario and his green-garbed brother Luigi, along with their dinosaur cohort Yoshi, all went on to save the day and rid Dinosaur Land of the evil King Bowser's machinations. This is a story that we likely all know very well from our childhoods. And it wasn't the last time Mario would make a splash in 2D either, but it was the golden standard by which all future Mario games would come to be judged, at least for a time. While other amazing games exist within the gaps of 2D and 3D Mario, it's undeniably Mario 64 on the Nintendo 64 that cemented Mario and the colorful cast of characters that inhabited his world as a true titan from the very start of the 3D era. It was this game that introduced Mario to a whole new generation of gamers, and with a string of beloved Mario games releasing on every Nintendo console since, it's difficult to criticize our portly mustached plumber. It's no accident or coincidence that Mario remains the most recognizable video game mascot of all time. On the other hand, there are some blemishes on Mario's bright red cap. The chiefest of all those far and away from the other competition of both cheesy cartoons and poorly received games is the original live-action Super Mario Bros. Movie from 1993. Now, despite having a few fantastic names in the cast, this movie today is enjoyed more often as being so bad, it's good, rather than as a genuinely fantastic adaptation of the Red Plumber to the big screen. Now, I hate to disappoint, but I'm not going to trash this movie more than is necessary to get my point across. This movie was bad, yes, but it's fun and is enjoyed by many today. Yet it was definitely a misstep back in 1993, especially when compared to the worldwide success and beloved reputation of the Mario games at that time. It's for this reason most of all that many fans, both hardcore and casual alike, have their reservations about another Super Mario movie. Despite this one looking far better due to its fantastic animated graphics, the Super Mario Bros. Movie is set to release next month on April the 5th, with many critics waiting impatiently with tomatoes already in hand. Now, some of the controversy comes from the fact that Hollywood A-list actor Chris Pratt is playing the role of the iconic red plumber, Mario. Many attribute this to his voice acting, having picked apart the few pieces of dialogue we've gotten throughout the various movie trailers. I do understand the concerns some hold for this movie's success, and the gripe of not casting the video game voice of Mario by giving the role solely to Charles Martinet. However, I'm not convinced that this spells doom for the movie. Based on the final trailer, I think it could be really fun. There appears to be plenty of fan service throughout, and all of the primary characters are both present and look fantastic. The normal gripe of characters being changed too much visually can't really be used here, and yet there are still some who strongly feel this movie has no chance of being enjoyable. I'm not sure it will ever be possible to please those people, but I can say with optimism that this movie looks to do a lot more justice for fans of the series through its faithful recreation of so many iconic characters, iconic locations, and more in relation to Mario. Besides, it does appear Charles Martinet will be making at least a cameo appearance in the movie, and that's a nice nod to the beloved voice actor and to the fan base. And I think there's enough good here to breathe out and give this movie a chance to succeed. Regardless of whether this movie is the messiah that revives Mario in Hollywood or not, I think we can all take a moment to appreciate the fact that classic video game movies have come a very long way from where they started. And that even if this blockbuster falls short, we're sure to see some fantastic video game movies in the near future. We've already had the beloved Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2, with a third movie on the way, and this new Mario movie could set the stage for something similar for itself. I'm not sure what video game I would want to see on the big screen next, but the possibility of a new generation getting to witness Mario on the big screen like never before is a very heartwarming thought. And what is Mario about if not entertainment? It's never been the most story-rich of games anyway, and its colorful artwork and low difficulty curve have always bent the game towards a younger audience. Now, I still believe this movie will be enjoyable, regardless of which Mario you grew up with, but keep an open mind when I say that this movie too may be aimed more specifically at a younger, newer generation of Mario fans, and that nothing short of the entire collapse of the internet as we know it could take away those old classic experiences we all hold so dear. So try your best to stay optimistic during this time, at least until we see the movie for ourselves. And then feel free to make your judgment as harshly as you feel is necessary. I'm very curious to hear your own opinions about the movie. I plan on seeing it next month and I'm pretty excited. But do you think it looks good? Are you excited? Or do you have reservations about whether or not it'll stay true? Furthermore, what's your favorite Mario game? Which one did you play first? I'd love to hear your own stories and your opinions in the comments below. Lastly, please remember to like the video and subscribe for content like this every Sunday. I'm racing down the rainbow road to YouTube partner right now, and believe me when I say every bit of support along this journey is greatly appreciated.